In this course, we will discuss the foundation design under vibrating machine. Really, we have this question many times: how can I design the foundation if I have operate a pump, compressor, power turbine, gas turbine generators, and whatever? How can I deal with this design? And also we'll discuss if it will be this machines over a steel deck. How can I do the design? What about the feature? What about the calculations that I need to do? This course will cover all these questions, and at the end you will be able to design the foundation under any type of equipment. We discuss first about the dynamic analysis. We go through the dynamic analysis from practical point of view. Then we go through about the guideline for design the foundation under vibrating machine as a general. Then example of centrifugal machine, go to example for reciprocating machine, and then example to design a steel deck under vibrating machine also. First lesson we discussed about the dynamic analysis. What about the dynamic analysis? We not go through more detail, but we catch the point which is more practical and assist us in our calculation. That's our target. What about the single degree of freedom? How can we calculate the natural frequency of the system that you have? Okay. The second lesson we discuss all about the type of the machine. What about the drive and the driven? What about the difference between them? How can I distinguish between them? More the data coming from the mechanical engineer, from the vendor, from the suppliers, for the how can we deal with them, how can we understand the data. That's our target. Then I need to make a scope of work for the soil. What about the soil mechanical and geotechnical investigation report? What's the data that I need? How can I make a scope of work for the geotechnical data? What's the test that I need to be done? What's the data I should read in the report or request the report to be included in? Then we go through according to design guideline to design the foundation. Really, we have to approach. Maybe you have some simple approach according to the code and the standard and textbook. How can we go through it? As a static check, and also what about the dynamic check? When I go to static, it will be enough. When I go to through dynamic, should be go through dynamic analysis. What about the design? This is from the practical experience. Really, all the pump, compressor, generator, it will be included for more oil and gas plant, refinery, petrochemicals, power generation project. All this have this type of the machine, so we need to know all this machine and how can we deal with this practically. Then we go to a special session after we have according all the information. How can we design the centrifugal machine? We have an example for it, for a real example, power turbine compressors. How can we make the static check calculation? What about the dynamic calculation check that can be applied? The fourth lesson, it will be about reciprocating machine, and we need to distinguish between the centrifugal and the reciprocating. How can we know the difference between them? The example of reciprocating machine, it will be discussed in detail according to the real example. And then we have to check the static check and the dynamic calculation also to be checked and discuss it will be safe or unsafe and so on, and check with both with the guideline and the practical guide that it will be included in the lesson 1 and lesson 2. In some time we need to put some gas turbine generators, we need to put some pump, compressor over a steel deck. How can I design the steel deck in this case? How can I review the design? It will be to check through this course. At the end, for this course, the target to learn how to design or check the design of the foundation or the steel structure under vibrating machine. So at the end, all this data should be familiar. How can you do this design, and you can ask about the Excel sheet can assist you. I can send it to you also if it can help you. Okay, keep in touch, and thank you. And if you have any question, this is our website, have our contact. You can discuss us if you have any inquiry at any time. Thanks a lot.